Hey, so yeah, I think part of the clamp down of my system lately is that I'm feeling more and more, energy that feels unmanageable. It can feel like overwhelming, which like the definition of overwhelming is energy that I don't know how to manage, right? And the system throws everything it can at me. It's like I can feel that empty event horizon approaching. And an event horizon is not something you can pull back from. And it feels real in a very in a scary way. Like even jumping out of an airplane didn't feel, I was able to kind of pull back from that, kind of dissociate from the fact of what I was doing. It's like I've had that in my back pocket my whole life, being able to dissociate. And that's maybe on its way out. And then you don't know what happens after that. That's it, that you don't know. Nothing's even happening, maybe. And I think right now, of all the things and the people I feel responsible for, because of my citizenship, because of my humanity, because of my chosen family. I mean, I chose this family that lives with me in this house here. None of that was imposed on me. I mean, kids in a way, you never know what you're going to get, but I chose to have kids. So, and, and they're pretty awesome. Yes, in so many ways, not what I expected, but that's perfect somehow. Yeah, I need to take a lot of deep breaths. Yeah, my mind says things like, so what, I'm just supposed to look around at all this injustice and say, oh, well, tally ho, I've got mine, you've got yours. How does that make me different from a Nazi? Maybe I'm not different. Maybe that's the point. Maybe stuff's just happening. And it's not my business if it's not my business. I mean, I can think of a million reasons why something maybe should be my business, but Yeah, like once it's like once everything outside of my purview effectively doesn't exist until it exists again in my purview, it really just feels like dropping out, dropping in. Because I could entangle myself in any given drama. I could pick something and feel ways about it. And do something. I mean, lots of people do lots of what I consider good things. Um, but yeah, this sort of crazy existence where you're just bombarded by tragedies, injustices, ecological disasters. And then next, some stupid clickbait video that you click on to spite yourself. It just fries you and it just takes you away from what is here and now. And you know, people in the sort of spiritual community like to talk about soul lessons and all those starving babies chose their fate somehow in some other dimension. And they're going to learn something from it. That's probably a concession. That's probably something to just make humans feel a little bit better. Who knows? I mean, we can imagine anything, we can hallucinate anything. There's no real way of knowing anything, really. And Angelo keeps saying, like, well, you get to a certain point and you stop asking questions because it doesn't matter. You're just absorbed into the stream of life. And you recognize you don't have choice anymore. Or you recognize maybe that you never had choice. I mean, so he says. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I can make a logical case that we can't even keep up with. We can't even keep up with the present moment. By the time we register it, it's already gone. And when we think we're anticipating the present moment, we're actually behind the present moment, projecting ahead of the present moment, and that's simply a fantasy. Probably people are like tadpoles or snowflakes produced by the billions, and then they melt or turn into frogs or get preserved on a photograph for a little while or die when the puddle dries up. And the planet dries up. I don't know. I can go into stories and predictions about the fate of the human species, but it's a fantasy. maybe informed in some cases. I mean, I was pretty sure the Gaza situation would degenerate into genocide based on past, based on my understanding of history and of the history of this particular conflict. I believed that the Iraq War would go bad long before it was fashionable to believe that, because I didn't trust the people doing it. I didn't trust their reasons. I didn't trust their heart, their expertise, their understanding of human nature. What makes me the expert? I'm right more often than not, more often than a lot of experts, so called. I wasn't alone by any stretch, like a lot of people who had what I consider a modicum of awareness of the situation felt similarly. But they don't tend to be considered experts because they don't make money for the right people. And that's how it goes right now, generally speaking. You get smart enough to see the trends, and then nobody listens anyway. Doesn't matter. Maybe it's not about being smart. Maybe it's even not about stopping trends or, yeah, like I said, the whole thing, soul lessons. I don't know. Maybe. I could so easily get in a car accident at any moment and be gone. Everything I've learned, all my dreams, all my hopes, plans, friends. It's going to go sooner or later, one way or another. Are you still human after liberation? Do you want to be? And then just today, I went into a restroom and literally forgot whether the soap came out of the soap dispenser or the faucet. I was genuinely confused. Was I just lost in thought? Was I? Is it sort of like categories and um, labels and all that was meaningless for a moment? What if you make a mistake? How do you know? What if it's a life and death mistake? Of course, you can make it when you're not liberated too. But when you are liberated, is it just like, another thing that happened? Oops. Even if it's some kind of carelessness that really harms somebody. Not my fault. Just swallow a towel. The Nuremberg defense on a universal scale. Yeah, I don't know. Like, everything's getting thrown into this swirl of confusion and backlash. And I don't know what I'm feeling. I mean, I could feel into it, but I couldn't tell you what it is. I mean, it just goes to show the extent to which feelings aren't emotions or even feelings, really, until we put some kind of story to them. And lately, it's been so blatantly obvious that, like, oh, I'm feeling something. I could come up with 3 reasons why I feel that thing. Um, I could come up with several reasons to feel the opposite. I think I understand that it's all just happening. Even when I'm commenting on, when I'm telling myself, stop commenting on what's happening. And then I'm like, am I commenting about what's happening? And all that's just like a joke too. It's just shit happening. Anyway, I'm heading for a women's retreat in Arkansas for the weekend. Looking forward to kind of unplugging, unwinding, being silly, having the immense privilege to get away from the heaviness for a while, maybe forever. I just watched a Ram Dass video about how to keep your heart open in hell. It's worth a watch. Everything comes in: the tragedy, the comedy, the fun, the fury. Goes straight through. You're not even there, and yet there is that momentary, empty, endless experience, an occasional, well, not occasional yet, but stories you can tell about it, conclusions you can draw from it, even as galaxies rip each other apart. I couldn't care less about the flea on the end of an atom's butt. Like we're like fleas on a little tiny electron, you know? All this drama. Take it so seriously. And one of my excuses for not, for taking it seriously is that I see other people taking it seriously. I see them feeling like their suffering is so real. And it seems cruel to I mean, I don't have to dismiss or invalidate their suffering, but by my own orientation, I'm kind of saying their suffering doesn't matter. But who cares what I think about their suffering? Like it doesn't matter that what I it doesn't matter what I it doesn't affect them how I orient, so but it affects me. or so my mind says. Yeah, a friend was giving me some helpful prompts, and sometimes it's like the inquiry doesn't even get started because it's just like, I mean, I guess this whole video is an inquiry in a way. So feeling, inquiring, feeling, inquiring. Just how it goes, I guess. Certainly in a better place now than I was for the past week, which has been quite rough, as I mentioned in a previous video. It's not quite as tornadic. It's not quite as like the fact of having nothing to grasp to at all is somewhat less disconcerting. And the old "you're a bad person" conditioning is a bit less grippy. You're a bad person if you X. You're a bad person if you don't Y. You're a bad person because XYZ. You can find excuses for that too. Right here and right now, it seems there's no evidence one way or the other. And pick your span of time within this apparent lifetime and your criteria. You could probably find evidence one way or the other too. I mean, yeah. But here and now, I don't know who I am, what kind of person I am, what might happen. I guess there's no reason to assume the best or the worst. I guess there's no reason to try to extrapolate anything at all. But then, is there some vantage point at which someone can be the judge? Can't even do that with Jesus or the Buddha. I'm so resistant to letting myself off the hook. Bad people let themselves off the hook. Good people have shame standards. Maybe even the so-called worst among us are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Or, I mean, and or it just doesn't matter at all. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm also getting closer to the point where I stop asking pointless questions that I know I'm not ever going to have an answer to. And what's left?